Well, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You need to go and get someone to watch tonight's broadcast. You're in for an amazing, amazing interview. I am your host, Gretchen Dixon. I am the founder of Fatal Distractions. Let's Chat. I have a very special guest with me tonight. Is Felicia Phillips, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. So welcome, Felicia. I'm very excited about tonight.
Thank you so much for having me here, Gretchen. I'm excited too and looking forward to our conversation.
Yes, yes. Well, first of all, I remember meeting you probably 4 years ago. Back then, I already thought you were fabulous. I remember your books and shirt designs, and you do so many things. So we're just going to jump right in here and kind of explain to everyone what is the Fab to Fit Academy.
Sure thing. And thank you. I think that you are just fabulous too. And I can't believe that it doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but it really is. It was 2017, right? So we met
Yes.
in 2017. Amazing time, amazing period in my life. And at that time, I was just beginning to get my toes wet in entrepreneurship. And so I was writing my first book. I was beginning to transition from preaching to being able to expand my reach, to do motivational speaking and beginning to travel and such, and just trying to figure out where I wanted to be and what God's purpose was for me beyond the things that I was doing at that time. And I remember, even as I was setting up my business, structure, I remember praying and saying, okay, well, Lord, I have this book now. What is it that you want me to do? And God spoke to me about being a coach. And I was like, okay, all right, everybody's being a coach now, whatever. And I actually went along that path, because my book is Chasing God, Manifesting Your Dreams. And so that book that I wrote in 2017 was about pursuing God instead of going after all of these other things, pursuing God. And I use the example of Joseph and his story in the Bible and the dream, the vision, the dream that God gave him years before he actually saw it manifest in his life. And I talk through with my reader, I talk through that journey with Joseph and the things that he went through and that he endured, and really emphasize the length of time between when that dream was first presented to him and when it came to pass. And so meanwhile, as I'm writing this book, I'm still chasing after God and looking for God to manifest the dreams that he placed inside of me. And so he talked to me about becoming a coach. And at that time, I'm thinking it must be a speaking coach or a business coach or something like that. I'm going to help people manifest their dreams. At the same time, I had just started a weight loss journey. My youngest daughter will be 18 in December, and I was trying to lose that baby weight for a good 14 years. So in 2017, I'm still trying to lose baby weight. And I started my fitness journey, and I did a challenge to lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks. And that was the start of what I thought was just a weight loss journey, And I, at the time, had I won't say I had a diet mindset, because I've never been a dieter per se. I did follow the Weight Watchers program, but beyond that, I've never been a dieter. I've always tried to just look for healthier options. But I had the mentality that I was going to change my way of eating for a short period of time so that I could get this weight off, and then I can go back and just eat whatever I want, right? And so I did the program, and I started to have success in the program. Around week 4 of the 6 weeks is when I actually started to see that I was losing weight. I remember everybody saying, oh, my clothes are fitting differently, and I'm losing weight. And I was losing weight on the scale, but I wasn't seeing it. And I went to a program for my daughter, and we took pictures. And for some reason, later that day, I decided to do a side-by-side comparison. And my mind was blown with the difference between just in my face, how my face looked in the picture that I took that day, and an older picture that was like July of that year. And I was just blown away. And so I didn't lose the 20 pounds at that time. I lost somewhere between like 15 and 16 pounds. It took me a couple more weeks to get to the 20 pounds of weight loss, but I lost the weight, and then continued on that lifestyle. Now, what happened in the process of losing the weight and realizing that that this couldn't be a temporary thing, is that I made the connection after years. I made the connection between what I was actually eating and seeing the results. See, up until that point, I would exercise. I did Zumba. At one point, I was a certified Zumba instructor because I went to a class that was horrible. And I was like, if she could get certified, so can I. So let me go do it myself. So I was certified as a Zumba instructor. I did kickboxing. I ran with Black Girls Run. I did all sorts of exercise, but I did not have the mindset that I was going to change how I was eating. And so with this program in the 6 weeks, I started seeing changes in my body. I felt more energy. I felt great. It was just really, it was something that was just so powerful that I realized this is not just a 6 week, I'm going to do this and go back. There was no going back. And so that was the beginning of my journey. But even then, if I look back at 2017 and you told me that today I would be training people and that I would be a nutritional coach and that I would have these certifications and that people will be coming to me to help them with weight loss and creating healthy lifestyles and changing their habits, I would have looked at you like you had 3 heads, because I absolutely did not know when God told me in 2018, coach, he spoke to me and said, coach, I didn't know what kind of coach that was. And so as I was pursuing my journey, and looking at what I was passionate about and what I really enjoyed, and people that follow me on Facebook, they were supporting me and cheering me along through my journey. I take all kinds of pictures because after that time that I took that picture, the side-by-side comparison picture, I realized how important pictures were. So yes, if you follow me on Facebook, you're going to see all of my pictures because I take pictures and I got to hit my different angles. Got to see the cuts. I'm doing all of that because there are times when you don't feel like you're making progress. There are times when you don't feel like you're moving toward your goals. And so you need something visually that you can look back, even if you're not where you want to be. And listen, this thing applies to more than just weight loss. I'm your healthy lifestyle coach, so I'm talking about weight loss. But there are times when you need to see tangibly that the work that you're putting in is not in vain. And so for weight loss, when you take those pictures and you look back at what you looked like 6 weeks ago, and then you look at where you are today, to be very honest, I just showed one of my clients her pictures from 2 weeks ago. And I said, girl, did you see this picture? Like they take pictures and we keep them. I keep those pictures are confidential, but they take regular progress pictures. And so I just happen to be going through my clients, looking at their pictures and doing comparisons. And this client has literally just been with me since February the 15th. And I said, oh my goodness, girl, did you see this? She was like, yes, I can't believe it. And so I'm big on pictures. But anyway, this is my long drawn out way of saying that I landed because of my personal passion for fitness after my own success story. And I went on, I lost the 16 pounds, then I lost another 4, got to 20. I switched gyms, went to another trainer and ended up losing even more weight. So I lost in total 35 pounds. At my heaviest, I was in about a size 14, and I feel like I was knocking on the door of 16. And I'm now down to a size 8 comfortably, because earlier in the program, I was in a size 8, but it was a squeeze and I can't breathe. And I was like, okay, I'm in it, but now I want to be comfortable. And so I am, and I want to be in an 8 no matter what store, because you know how that is, right? Oh, I wear this size. I'm only shopping at this store because in this store I wear 10, but in all the other stores I wear 12 or 14, right? So I just wanted to wear an 8 across the board and be comfortable and be able to breathe. And so that was the start of my journey 4 years ago. And I'm so happy to say that I'm still in that place and still continuing to work on my goals. And so then I arrived at a point where it was like, okay, how can I, on my entrepreneurial journey, how can I transition this so that it's more than just a passion, right? And I remember actually being on a call. We have a coach in common, Pastor Monica Haskell, and she and Rodney actually said, Felicia, you should train people. You should do this. You should take advantage of your weight loss and the success that you've had. I'm pretty sure people are asking you, how did you do it? And people want your help. You need to go for it. And I admit, when they first said it, I was like, I need to get this certification. I need to get that certification, because I am that person. Like, I want to have all the credentials. Yes. I have a master's of divinity because I wanted all the credentials. Now, of course, at the end of the day, it's all about God and what God wants you to do. But I am that person. I'll admit that I want to have the paper as well. And so I started studying and I looked for a program and I got certified as a nutritional coach and I launched the Fab to Fit Academy. So that was a very long response to how I got to the Fab to Fit Academy. But the Fab to Fit Academy is an online school and membership program that was designed for Christian women who are either at risk for chronic disease, which is a lot of us as African American women, or those who may have already been diagnosed with chronic disease and they need help losing weight, changing their lifestyle, creating healthy habits so that they can live a happier, healthier, and more active lifestyle. When I first became a coach, doing one-on-one nutritional coaching, the reality is, and I'll be honest, it is an investment when you're looking for one-on-one coaching. It's an investment, and it's an investment that some people just are not able to make. And so, you know, for whatever reason. And so the Fat to Fit Academy was my way of creating something for the individuals that I still wanted to be able to help. I still wanted to be able to serve them. I just might not be able to serve them on the one-on-one capacity and, you know, all the bells and whistles that come with my customized one-on-one nutritional coaching program. And so I created the Fat to Fit Academy as a means of providing a group opportunity, which means I can lower the cost, right? Because I'm not dealing one-on-one with a whole bunch of people. I can just do one coaching session and I can pour into you in that one coaching session. And so I developed the Academy as a membership program, and I do online virtual courses. The funny thing is it launched in the middle of COVID. So I launched July of 2020. But the reality is that I never intended to do it in person. My idea was always to do something virtual. And so it just so happened that everything happened at the same time as the pandemic. But I offer virtual classes basically Monday through Saturday, with the exception of Friday. So Fridays and Sundays, I don't offer classes, but I do HIIT classes, high intensity interval training classes. And I also do something called LIT, which is something that actually exists, but my version of LIT may be a little different from others. I essentially had someone in my class who took the HIIT class, and she was a little older woman, and she made it through the class, but she said, listen, there has to be something else. And I was like, hold on, I want to help you. And so I created my version of a low intensity interval training class. And I really market that class as a class for people who are either complete newbies to interval training, to people who are older adults, and also to people who may have injuries. So either newbie to working out, maybe you want to start with the LIT class and then graduate to the HIIT class, which is high intensity, or you may have some type of injury, and so there may be some. And so I do that. I have monthly coaching with my members. At the end of the month, we come together and we set goals. We talk about what worked, what didn't work. We encourage each other. We share with each other. And then we also do a monthly masterclass where I bring in outside experts and they come in and they speak to my members. So that is essentially the Fat to Fit Academy, and that's what we do. And it's just been a blessing. We're coming up on our year anniversary in July. And I'm just so blessed by the people that have trusted me to be a part of their journey.
Wow, wow. Thank you. Okay, let's get into some questions. I have my phone here so I can see if people have some questions for you. I know a lot of things are out there right now because I tried some of them. Back in my day, it was Atkins, you mentioned Weight Watchers, we've got the keto, we've got even individuals now that are doing Alkaline and things like that. How would someone get started? You said you learned how to eat correctly. So so how would someone get started? What's work for you? Yes, the exercise, because I remember in one of our conversations was that you exercise, you would do Zumba, but you didn't lose weight. So what is something that you would recommend? I know it's a lot out there, but kind of a shorter version of how someone could get started or some tips.
Yeah.
think she's
ties
freezing
into
up
your, oh, am I freezing?
a little bit. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can exercise until you're blue in the face. But the reality is, if you're not willing to make a commitment to change how you're eating and what you're eating, then you're not going to get the results that you want. So I ran, and I'm pretty sure that, you know, my heart was somewhat healthy because I was very active. I was running 3 miles 3 times a week. And then on the weekends, I would run a longer run, anywhere from 5 to 10 miles, but I wasn't losing weight. And so the first thing is really, I would say it starts even before we get to what we're eating and the movement. It starts with your mindset. You have to make up your mind that you want to change. You have to make up your mind that you are committed to loving yourself. In fact, one of my very first international speaking engagements was in New Delhi, India. I spoke at a conference called the Women Economic Forum in May of 2017, a little before we met. And I spoke on the topic of loving me. And when I spoke on loving me, I talked about how we sometimes give lip service to loving ourselves, but then we don't act or speak like we really love ourselves. So what does that mean? I say that I love myself, but you know, I then put all these other things in front of really taking care of myself, which is a part of loving myself. I say that I love myself, but then I consume foods that are harmful to my body, foods that are not going to fuel my body, or foods that are not going to give me the energy that I need, foods that are going to cause inflammation, that are going to make me feel sluggish, that are high fat, high calorie, high sugar, high sodium, that are going to lead to a host of chronic conditions: obesity, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, which is the #1 killer of African American women. And so when I say I love myself, you know, do I really love myself when I'm doing those things? You know, or is it just something that I'm saying? When does it really hit home? When does it really mean I love myself enough that I'm the priority? You know, before my weight loss journey, when we would, you know, I remember when I bought my first house, the first thing that we looked for, I always look for schools because I want to make sure that my kids are in a good school district. And then the next thing was, how close was it to my church? Can I get to my church? Because when we bought our first home, God had not released me from my current church. And so I had to find a home that was near that I could still get to my church and serve actively in my church. And they had a good school district. Now, what I look for, when we moved to Georgia in July of 2019, when we were down here actually looking for this house, you know what else I was looking for? A gym.
Oh, wow.
Because it had become that important to me. It's like, okay, you know, when we're moving, right? And I'm about to walk away from my full-time job, sat down, talked to my husband, you know, I'm about to walk away from my full-time job, and I can give up some things, but there's some things that I can't give up. So we're going to have to budget so that I can get to the gym. And I actually found the gym that I joined during that visit. I called and said, hey, can I come and take a trial class? And I'm down here looking for a house and taking a trial class at the gym that was right up the street. That's how important it is to me. And that's how much I love myself, that I'm prioritizing it. So it's no longer something that I could put on the shelf and not do, because I love myself enough that I know that I need to do it for my mental health. I need to do it for my physical health. I need to take care of this body. I need to be a faithful steward of the body that God has given me. So again, it starts with your mindset and where you are, because we know, you know, a lot of the things that I tell people, you already know that sitting down with that bag of chips every single day is not good. You know that eating that whole container of ice cream is bad. You know you can't have pizza every day. I don't need to tell you that. You just have to get tired of the way you're feeling. You have to get tired of coming up the steps and being winded. You have to get tired of your knees hurting because of the extra weight that you're carrying, or your back hurting. You have to get tired of being afraid, like I was, to go to the doctors because you might finally get diagnosed with diabetes. Or even worse, they told you 2 years ago that you were pre-diabetic, but because you weren't diabetic yet, you're still, you know, out here living your best life and doing whatever and not making the necessary changes. So it starts before you do anything else with your mind. You have to make up your mind that you're going to take charge of your health. You have to make up your mind that you are willing to make the changes that you need to make in order to get the results that you desire.
Wow, that's good. Someone just asked, I said, will it make a difference if you do a cleanse before you start changing your eating habits?
So I'll say this. I think it really once you begin to change your eating habits and including things like drinking a sufficient amount of water, your body is going to detox. Once you begin to reduce the sugar in your body, then your body is automatically going to detox. So I don't necessarily think that there is a need to do any type of cleanse before you are starting a weight loss journey. However, I will say this, if you do some type of cleanse, what it can do is more of a mental thing, right? So it may allow you to jumpstart or kickstart your weight loss. You may lose a couple more pounds in your first week or two by doing the cleanse, right? Than you would without a cleanse. And so that may be the motivation. Sometimes we just need some motivation just to kickstart us, and we, finally see, oh my goodness, the scale finally moved. So now I can go full force. And so for that reason, I would say that you might consider a cleanse, but it is absolutely not necessary to do that in order to lose weight. Again, your body is going to do that as you begin to eliminate those foods that are not good for you, the foods that are causing the inflammation and the sluggishness and the low energy and all of those things.
Okay. What about recently I was looking into for myself a de-herbs cleanse, and one of the things they talked about when I was doing my research was drinking alkaline water as opposed to, like, I drink my bottled water. So is there a difference between alkaline and my regular bottled water, or spring water? Does it matter?
So I'll say this, and that is absolutely not my area. So I would absolutely have to refer you to someone that specializes in that area. But alkaline-based diets are healthy. They are just probably far more challenging to follow than some of the other things that are out there currently. But from what I know, it is a healthy way of eating. It's a good way of eating. And I would really just have to recommend you to somebody, and I can share a couple of people that specialize in gut health and things like that, because that specifically isn't my area. So I don't even want to begin to pretend that it is. I'm going to tell the truth and shame the devil. That's not an area that I'm really familiar with, other than I do have some friends and some colleagues that teach that and that work with people who are looking to make that transition, and even have a friend who has been doing it on her own, just transitioning to an alkaline-based diet as opposed to some of the acidic foods that we eat that really cause a lot of the problems that we suffer from.
Okay. Let's see. The other thing is, I saw something you posted today about one of my favorite meats to have for breakfast, and that's bacon.
Bacon.
And my husband says, I don't know how he would know. I tried buy turkey bacon. He says it tastes like cardboard. So I don't know how he would know how cardboard tastes. So what were you sharing about not eating bacon, even if I microwave it and all the fat is drained away?
So listen, bacon is good. I love bacon. I'll say this. I eat everything. I don't really have any restrictions. My family is so crazy in my house because my husband doesn't eat beef or pork. One daughter didn't like fish. Other child is allergic to fish and seafood. So our common food was chicken. And then the one hated, Kyra, my oldest daughter, hated all turkey substitutes. So she was not here for my turkey bacon, my ground turkey, and all of that stuff. Bacon has a lot of fat content, and bacon has a lot of sodium in it. So you want to be careful of eating. You want to be careful with eating bacon. But I'm not opposed to a treat here or there. We don't typically buy pork bacon in the home. We do buy turkey bacon, but interestingly enough, my Instacart shopper this past weekend noticed they didn't have the turkey bacon that I asked for. And so she decided, without contacting me, to replace it with 5 pounds of pork bacon.
Oh,
so
wow.
I actually have this Costco pack of pork bacon downstairs, which normally, 3 or 4 years ago, my house would have been like, oh my gosh, we have bacon. We have real bacon. It's literally just sitting there because everybody has kind of jumped on the health bandwagon. So we don't eat a lot of the pork bacon, but if I travel somewhere and they have it, or every once in a while, you know, if I go out and I want bacon, I will get it. The turkey bacon, your husband is right. Depending on the brand, it does taste like cardboard. Oscar Mayer, ugh, it tastes like cardboard. You have to find the right brand and the right cut of the turkey bacon. So that's one thing. And then cooking it. So I am the microwave diva. I'm one of the modern women. I look for all kinds of gadgets. I have this Pampered Chef ceramic dish now that you can make eggs in. And my husband is like, I want no parts of eggs coming out of that ceramic dish in the microwave. I want my eggs on the stove, but I'm the microwave diva. However, when my husband makes my bacon, my turkey bacon, he makes it over the stove and it tastes so much better. So long story short, I like bacon. What you saw in the group was somebody who was on one of my plans, my one-on-one nutritional coaching plan, where I walk you step by step by step through a 12-step program to help you to get to your goal weight and to prepare you to be able to maintain it, to lose that weight and to keep it off for good. I take you through some steps. You're learning healthy habits along the way. You're eliminating bad habits. You're transforming your lifestyle. And so as part of that program, there are a couple of different food lists to get you started. Now, eventually, the program will get you to the point that you don't have a food list because you've been empowered to know what foods are good for you, what foods are bad, what foods have high fat content, how to track your calories, how to track your macronutrients. You know how to make all of those choices so you're able to do it on your own. But getting started, because I guarantee my services. So once you sign up with me, if we say you're going to lose 20 pounds in the next 24 weeks, as long as you do what I ask you to do and you follow the program and you don't hit that goal, which is not going to happen, but let's just say that you don't, I continue working with you until you hit the goal, as long as you continue to do what I've asked you to do, following the exercise routine, following the nutrition plan, checking in with me, drinking your water. If you do all of those things, I'm going to keep on working with you for no additional charge if you don't reach your goal. So that being said, I am fully invested in you succeeding, which means there's some foods when we have a limited time frame to lose the weight that you just can't have. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, if you sign up with me today, you're not going to be able to have bacon. Now, I can have bacon. I had some of this. I didn't have any this morning, but I usually have turkey bacon in the morning. And turkey bacon is not super bad for you, although you do have to be careful. If you have high blood pressure, I don't have any of those issues as of yet. And I'm working to avoid them. But bacon, whether it's the turkey bacon or the pork bacon, you do have to watch the sodium. There's some people that are just like, the sodium is just too high, or they have high blood pressure. So you do have to be careful, but you know, there's room for some foods in moderation. I'm not that coach. Maybe years from now, I'll be that coach that is just like, no, don't have any of this, don't have any of that. I'm not that coach right now. I understand, and I still like to eat certain things. You know, I would love to have a bacon wrapped filet mignon or bacon wrapped scallops, right? Not every day, but if I happen to be at a reception and the past hors d'oeuvres come by, and it's a week when I've planned out my meals and I knew I was going to be at the reception and I wanted to be able to freely eat, I can work that into my week so that I'm able to enjoy that past hors d'oeuvre and enjoy my bacon, right? And not have it impact my waistline or my body goals.
Wow. Now, what I've been most impressed about, of course, you've lost the weight and you've toned your body, but your mother, share with those that are watching a little bit about your mom and where she started and her journey.
Absolutely. So my mom is actually I call her my VIP client. She was actually my first client, and she is a lot of the reason behind my why. So oftentimes when I'm talking to new clients about the program, before we get started, listen, I need to know why you're doing this. You need to have a very compelling why, because this is not always going to be easy. There are going to be some days that are going to be difficult. Some days you're going to be stressed out and you're going to want to go ahead and eat the cookies. You're going to want to go ahead and eat the cake or drink the Pepsi or the wine or whatever it is that you do, right? And so you have to have a compelling reason that you can go to say, you know what, I really want this, but I know that it is going to sabotage my health. I know it's going to put me at risk for disease. And so my mother is 71 years old. She'll be 72 in May. And my mother has had diabetes since 2009. And so we're now in, I can't believe we're in 2021, my goodness. So she's had diabetes since 2009. She was not always on insulin. So I don't remember exactly when she, got to the point of being on insulin. So I'm using roughly 2009, although it may be a little shorter than that. And my mother, I'm a caregiver for my mother now. So my parents live with me, my mother and my father. My mother has type 2 diabetes. She has hypertension. She has stage 3 kidney disease. You see the link. She was obese. So all of those diseases that kind of come together, right? She had all of them. Sleep apnea, and then vascular dementia and Alzheimer's, early stages of Alzheimer's, which if you don't know, researchers and doctors are now naming Alzheimer's as diabetes type 3 because of the correlation between diabetes and what they see with patients that have Alzheimer's. And so, in fact, in talking to my doctor, they said one of the best things that you can do right now is what you're doing. Eating clean, cleaning up your diet, and exercising. That is one of the best things that you can do. Of course, there's a lot of research and a lot that we still don't know about Alzheimer's and curing it and all of that. But to be as proactive as I can be, those are the things that my doctor said that I need to do. And so my mother has all these conditions. And back in 2016, she spent like the previous 2 years in and out of the hospital, having either, we don't even know if it was a stroke that caused a seizure or a seizure that caused a stroke, but she would pass out, have these seizures, and be hospitalized. And it was happening like every 6 months, up to the point that it was just bad. And they lived at the time 45 minutes away from me. And my children were smaller. We had dance school and track and all the different things that I was doing for church, a minister, working full time, and it was just a lot to deal with. And so we moved my parents to an apartment that was closer to where I lived, because our house at the time was too small for them to move in with us. And we did that for about a year and knew that we needed to do more. And so finally in 2019, we made the decision that we were ready to move, to relocate, and we came down to Georgia. And the 3 weeks prior to our final move, we had cleaned out my parents' apartment. My husband had come down to Georgia to get everything settled and get my daughter started because they start school down here earlier. And my mother stayed with me. And because we had boxes all over the place, and because my house was small, just wasn't a lot of room, I said, you know what, I'm going to cook. I don't want y'all tripping over things, and I'll just prepare your meals for these last 3 weeks. But don't think I'm going to do this when we get to Georgia. Like, you're going to be back to cooking your own food. And in that 3 weeks, my mother started to lose weight, because she started eating not, a particular diet, just because she was eating the types of food that I was eating. And by the time we got to Georgia, her blood sugar was starting to get lower and lower and lower. And I'm getting concerned, like at this time she was still taking insulin. Like, I'm concerned. We were actually giving her like graham crackers and things to eat at night to make sure that her blood sugar didn't go down too low, because it had been, because it was so low. And I remember, we actually do not do this at home, ladies and gentlemen. We actually ran out of insulin a week before her doctor's appointment. And I didn't like her primary care doctor in Pennsylvania. So I didn't want to call them and ask, can you just give us, one more prescription? So I said, don't do this at home, ladies and gentlemen. Mom, I'm going to monitor your blood sugar. It's been really low. It's been in a normal range. It hasn't been in a diabetic range. I'm going to monitor your blood sugar. If it dips too low or it goes too high, we'll call the new doctor, because they weren't going to really prescribe something without being seen. But the other doctor would say, well, you don't live here anymore, so I'm not going to prescribe anything. So I said, I'm just going to monitor it. And if it gets too high or too low, I'll call your new doctor and explain that you have an appointment in the next couple of days and see what they want to do. So I monitored her blood sugar, and it stayed within a normal range. We got to the doctor's appointment, and she had lost, I think it was under 20 pounds, somewhere around 15 pounds. And her blood sugar was in the normal range. And I said, she ran out of insulin, so she hasn't had it in a week. So I don't know if you want to put her back on it. And the doctor looked at me like I had 3 heads and said, put her back on it. If she's maintaining her blood sugar, whatever you're doing right now, if it's just being managed by diet and exercise, keep on doing what you're doing. But no, we're not putting her back on insulin. So with just losing 15 pounds, it might have been 15 to 18. I know it's under 20. It wasn't a lot. Oftentimes we think, oh my gosh, I have to lose 60 pounds before I make make a big dent in my health and improve my health. It was under 20 pounds that my mother lost. And as a result of that, she was able to stop taking insulin, and she was able to stop being treated for diabetes with any medication. And that was in 2019. So almost 2 years later, it'll be 2 years in September, she is still free of diabetes medication and managing it. And on top of it, we really weren't exercising regularly at that time. So it was just nutritional changes. I did not, because she has dementia and the vascular dementia and the Alzheimer's. There's some habits I can create, but you just don't know what's going to stick with her. So a lot of managing and helping her was just serving her foods that were different. I can't really teach her the habits like I would if I were working with my clients. I would, be educating them and teaching them how to do it. Although she has picked up some things. So when she does try to prepare her own meals, you see her trying to replicate what I give her. But essentially, we increased her water intake. Just have her constantly drinking water. She walks around with a bottle of water now. She's constantly drinking water, which is also good for the kidney disease. We want to keep that kidney disease at stage 3. We don't want it to advance any farther because we know that can lead to dialysis. And so you have to keep your kidneys hydrated. So drinking the water is good for weight loss. It's also good for her kidney disease. And then we started adding vegetables to every single meal. Now that's different, right? Because people are like, I used to think, I don't eat eggs, but I don't know, broccoli with my oatmeal. Like that sounds gross, right? But the reality is we started doing vegetables with every single meal. And at first they would say, why are we having a salad? It's breakfast time, because you need to eat vegetables. And so I started incorporating vegetables at every single meal. And so that's really how she ate. And she lost about 30 pounds before she actually started doing regular exercise. She would walk and she thought she was killing the game, but it was only like once, maybe twice a week. She thought she was walking every day. I'm like, Mom, I don't have time, because she doesn't go out by herself and I didn't have time to get out with her every day. But so, very limited walking, but she was changing how she was eating. And that helped her to lose the 30 pounds. And then when I launched the Fat to Fit Academy and then started that class, I talked about the LIT class, the low intensity interval training class. I said, you know what, Mom? You're losing weight and I can see the weight coming off. But one thing that happens, ladies, when you're trying to burn fat and you just do, you just manage it with your nutrition, you can definitely lose the weight, but you also want to be able to build muscle. You always hear women saying, I want a flat stomach, or even more, I want the 6-pack, or I just want to tone up, and all of those things. In order to do that, you have to do a couple of things. You want to add some resistance training to your workout routine. So resistance training is going to help you to build muscle, and it's going to help you to burn fat. Now, my mother is 71 years old. Does she want a 6-pack? Probably not. Is she interested in having her legs and her arms cut up? Not at all. But we still want to help her to develop muscle tone, and develop, to build those muscles, because that is going to help as she continues to lose the weight. I was just looking at her arm and I was like, Mom, I said, your arm, if you keep on losing at the rate that you're losing, it's going to, you're going to have that flat. It's going to be like flabby. So I want you to start taking classes with me so we can build some muscle tone, and you can strengthen, you can strengthen your body. You can get stronger, which is also good for someone her age. We do a lot of exercises that help with core strength, which is the foundation for all of your body movements. We do balance, because as you age, balance becomes a problem, and even falls become a problem. And so we can strengthen your core, then you have more stability, enhance your stability, endurance, and really help you with things like balance. And so all together now, wait a minute, let me add it up. All together, my mom, she got to a point where she had lost 60 pounds, and then she got cute. And it was like, well, I don't need to do this because I already lost weight. And I'm like, Mom, Mom, you did lose weight, but we got to keep on going. You can't get complacent. And that, again, is the same with us with any of our goals. Sometimes we get to a place where we're comfortable because we've had Bishop Haskell, Pastor Monica say this all the time. You have a modicum of success, right? And then you think, okay, I'm cool. I can relax. And I don't want, whether you've hit your weight loss goal or whether you're still striving, you don't want to relax. You do want to celebrate your milestones. So I celebrated her like, Mom, you're down another 10 pounds. Oh my gosh, Mom, you're down, X amount of pounds. I'm trying to find a calculator. It's probably not going to work because I'm talking and doing it. Oh, here it is. You're down X amount of pounds. And I would celebrate her. Yay. Okay. But then she got comfortable. So she was at kind of 59 to 60 pounds for a while. And honestly, within the past week, she's just picked back up and we're back on it. And she's now down 64 pounds total.
Wow,
so
that's great.
Our next goal is to get her down to 170 pounds. So, in fact, interestingly enough, when you talk about body composition, and I really have to take a picture of both of us and post it so that people will see, because right now my mom and I are almost about the same weight. There's little difference in our weight. It's just because of the type of exercise and the weight training and resistance training that I do. I have more muscle tone and more muscle mass, more lean muscle than my mother has. And so we look different and you wouldn't think that we're the same. We also wear different size clothes. She's in a 14, trying to inch down to a 12, and I'm in a 10. So that, and we're about an inch apart. She's 5'4" and I'm 5'5". So that is just a real lesson that I want to share with people in my group and also share with my clients in like the difference in body types and what a body that has a higher percentage of body fat looks like compared to one that has more muscle tone. Because again, we're like within 5 pounds of each other at this point, but looking at us, you wouldn't necessarily think that because we have this vision of what different weights look like. So I'm proud of her. She's doing an amazing job. She's my hero, and she's the one that God used to show me that I can help anybody. Because if I can help, my mother never exercised. Again, she did Weight Watchers when I was younger. So she's lost weight before, but she's never lost this amount of weight. She's never kept it off for this long. You know, a lot of people do fads, whether, you know, it's the tea or you want to do a detox, 10-day detox or smoothie, this and that, and all of those things, keto, whatever it is, the Atkins, all of those different diets. And then when the diet ends, they find that they're not really sure how to move forward and how to continue eating and how to maintain that weight. And so what happens is oftentimes people gain that weight back. Well, listen, Beverly Bay, that's my mother, started losing weight in 2019. And as of March 8th, today's the 9th, March 9th, 2021, she hasn't gained it. In fact, she's starting to lose more. So that's the kind of results that I deliver with my clients. I treat you like my mom. I want you to win. I want you to have the freedom of knowing that you can reach your goal. You can lose weight. You can take charge of your health. You can do it, and I can support you and help you to get to where you want to be. So I'm so proud of my mom. She's an inspiration. And again, I really think that God used her to really motivate me and encourage me. Like, listen, if you can turn this around, if you can do this. And that was before I was even certified as a nutritional coach. I got certified as a nutritional coach in November of 2019. So the work that I started with my mother was just based on my own knowledge and my own weight loss journey. So, you know, imagine where I am now. I got some experience under my belt. I'm helping women crush their goals. I have my certification, and I am just ready to make it happen and to let people know that they can. Age is not a number. I mean, age is nothing more than a number, right? They can do it at any age. I have customized programs that are created just for you. And we know that when something is custom, it's going to be a perfect fit because it's just for you.
That's right. One last question before we end. Someone wants to know, do you create meal plans for people that have hypothyroidism? And is it hard to lose weight with a slow metabolism?
Good question. So I do create my one-on-one nutrition programs are customized based on the individual. So what I typically do is have a strategy session or a strategy call where I talk to potential clients about what their issues are, what their challenges are, any medical conditions that they have. And then we come up with a customized plan based on your goals, based on the amount of weight that you want to lose, and decide how much time it's going to take to get you there. Slow metabolism is something that that honestly a lot of us struggle with. It may be amplified with hypothyroidism, but there are ways that we can rev up your metabolism. And so one thing that I know for sure, just even, I'll use this example. Now, of course, this is not somebody that has hypothyroidism, but just an example of what happens when you actually are fueling your body properly and you are you're able to rev up your metabolism. So I have a client who actually just started, my days are blending. She just started yesterday. It feels like it was a while ago, but she started with me yesterday and she followed the nutrition plan that I gave her for this week. and she found that she was really eating a lot of food, more food than it felt like she normally eats. And she was still tracking calories based on not anything that I gave her, but what the app kind of automated app came up with. And I said, you don't have to worry about that. That's kind of general. You're now working with me, so we're going to focus on the meal plan that I gave you. But she said that she found that after doing the workout yesterday and eating as much as she was eating, that she was finding that she was hungry at first. And it was like, this is kind of weird. Like, I'm eating all of this food and I'm feeling like I'm hungry. And I said, that's actually a really good sign. What that means is that you're not just eating food, but you're eating quality foods. And so the high quality foods that you're eating are actually properly fueling your body. And so because your body is being properly fueled, it is revving up your metabolism. That coupled with the workout that you did, obviously your metabolism is being revved up. So you'll find that that will happen as you change how you're eating and learn what foods your body needs and how much of those foods. Oftentimes people have slow metabolism because they're not eating enough food. Interestingly enough, a lot of my clients, when I first began working with them, they're not eating enough food. And I'm like, you have to eat more. It sounds like it doesn't make sense, but oftentimes you need to eat more in order to lose the weight. And so you're filling your body up, not just with just empty calories, which is what we do when we're doing, high sugar and sweet foods and all of those things, but you're giving your body what it needs. And so your body is like, yes, give me more of that. And your body begins to crave it, and your body begins to fall in line with what it should be doing and processing your foods in a way that is going to allow you to see the results that you want. So when I change my workout program, because you change your program, every 4 to 6 weeks, you don't want your body to just get accustomed to what you're doing. When my workout program changes, or when my macronutrients, my calorie intake changes, then I'll notice that I'm hungrier. Right? A lot of people don't eat breakfast because they're not used to it. And so our bodies get accustomed to just how we're treating it. So it's not that you're not hungry, that your body doesn't want food in the morning. It's that you have become accustomed to not giving it that. So your body adapts. God created us with bodies that will adapt to how we treat it. And so that's another reason why our metabolism may be slow. And so you can absolutely rev up your metabolism. Those of us who are older, over 40, it may be a little harder. We may have to put in more work. There may be more effort. We may have to go harder with the workout than somebody that's 30 or somebody that's 20 in order to get the same results. But there are ways that you can do that. And you'll notice that then you're hungrier. You find that you're hungrier because your metabolism is revved up. Now, when you're going under calories, your body's going to hold on to the food that you're consuming, because it doesn't know. Your body is going into starvation mode. And so your body is like, okay, I'm not sure if we're going to get any more, so let's hold on to what we have, right? And then that converts to fat, and then you're either staying the same size or you're gaining weight because your body is holding on to it. Think about if you got $20 and you don't get paid until Friday. What are you going to do? You're not going to go spend the $20 on Tuesday. You're going to hold on to it because you're not sure when you're going to get more. But once you begin to feed your body and properly fuel your body, then your body's like, okay, let's go, right? And then your metabolism is revved up. So again, very long response to the question, but the answer is yes, I can work with you, and we can work to increase your metabolism and get you where you need to go despite your, the hypothyroidism.
Wow, that's great. Felicia, it's been an honor and a pleasure having you on tonight. I've seen the progress, especially your mom. Oh my goodness. I'm so motivated by it as well. If someone wants to do a discovery session with you or connect with you, how can they do that?
Good question. So you can actually visit my website at www.fabtofitacademy.com. And I would also say, unfortunately, I think that's where I've slipped, because I don't think that I have the link for the discovery call. So you can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at FRP Speaks. And then I do have a free Facebook group that I would love for you guys to join. I'll probably go in after this is over and add the link into the comments, and I can then add my link for a discovery call. But I'd love to sit down with anybody who's really serious about losing weight and wants to do it in a healthy way. No gimmicks. We eat real food. And we eat whole foods and healthy foods. And I create a plan that's tailor-made for you so that you can lose the weight and you can keep it off and you can do it in a healthy way. So I will go in after the broadcast and I'll add the appropriate links there as well.
Oh, great, great. Thank you again. Those of you who've been watching the replay, you are watching Fatal Distractions. Let's Chat with your host, Gretchen Dixon, and my special guest tonight, Felicia Phillips. Any closing remarks before we get off tonight, Felicia?
I want to just say that Black women, we have to take our health seriously. We take care of everybody else.
Yes.
Whether it is at home, in ministry, our children, our spouses, our grandchildren, the kids on the block. We take care of everybody, and we oftentimes put everybody before us. But people tell me this all the time, and I have to take heed as I'm sharing it with you. Ladies, you can't pour from an empty cup.
That's right.
So you have to fill yourself up. And in order to do that, you have to prioritize your health. Do not wait for the diagnosis of diabetes. Do not wait for hypertension. Do not believe the lie that because my grandmother had heart disease, I'm going to get heart disease. Because everybody in my family is thick, we're all thick, and I can't lose this weight, right? Those are lies. That is not true. You can do it. You have to make a decision to put yourself first. Self-care is not selfish, and taking care of your health, right? Exercising, following a healthier diet, all of those are important parts of self-care. Getting your nails done, your hair done, getting a makeover, shopping, all that stuff, that's cute, that's great. But at the end of the day, if you're sick and in bed and you can't move or you can't breathe or you can't get around, then all of those things are superficial. You want to take care of your health, and you have to prioritize it. You have to make time for it. We make time for what's important for us and important to us. And when you don't make time to take care of your health, what you're really saying is, like I said at the beginning, you don't really love yourself like you say you love yourself. So I want to encourage you to put yourself first, truly love yourself so that you can lead a healthier, happier, and more active lifestyle.
Wow. Thank you so much again. And one last time before we go, give them the information on how they can connect with you.
Absolutely. So you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at FRP Speaks. And then you can certainly inbox me if you're looking for a consult. You can visit my website, www.fab2fitacademy.com. Again, it's www.fab2fitacademy.com. And I will be happy to talk to you. And even if you mention Gretchen and you let me know that you saw this broadcast, then I'll even let you in on a little discount on my services for tuning in and for supporting Gretchen.
All right, now you've heard it. Well, you guys have a great night and a blessed remainder of the week. Thank you again for watching Fatal Distraction. Let's Chat. Good night.
Good night.